The death of Russian opposition leader Alexei Navalny sent shockwaves around the world on Friday.
Putin is a murderer!
In Berlin, people chanted, "Putin is a killer,"
Alexei Navalny.
blaming the Russian president for the death of his most formidable opponent. Vigils and protests sprung up in other major cities, too. This is former Navalny team member Anastasia Panchenko in Tbilisi, Georgia, saying, "We believed we'd build a wonderful future Russia, that he'd be president." Russia's prison service says Navalny died on Friday after collapsing at the Arctic penal colony where he was serving a 3-decade-long jail term.
Putin is responsible.
But Western leaders, including U.S. President Joe Biden, have also pointed the finger at Putin.
We don't know exactly what happened, but there is no doubt that the death of Navalny was the consequence of something that Putin and his thugs did.
To supporters, Navalny represented an alternative future for Russia, where Putin has served as the country's paramount leader longer than anyone since Joseph Stalin. To the Kremlin, he was a CIA stooge and troublemaker out to topple the authorities. Putin never mentioned him by name.
It will have a chilling effect.
Experts like Keir Giles at Chatham House say his death deprives Russia's opposition of a leader and hope.
It's very hard to see who else would fill the role of Navalny, controversial though it was. He has been treated as a figurehead for the Russian opposition. And meanwhile, of course, President Putin and the central Russian authorities have worked very hard to ensure that no similar figure emerges.
Navalny shed light on what he said was vast corruption among those running Putin's Russia. In 2020, he survived what Western doctors said was a nerve agent poisoning attempt on board a plane in Siberia. He returned to Russia from Germany in 2021, gaining the admiration of Russia's fractured opposition. Authorities accused him of trying to foment revolution. Without him, some have expressed fears about the health of other activists in jail.
This was a 47-year-old man who was in good health.
Columbia University political science professor Timothy Fry.
Well, one thing that I think Alexei Navalny would like people to remember is his mantra, which was, "Don't be afraid." That was a message aimed at Russians. And if you're afraid, then you are serving the Kremlin's purposes.
Despite being banned in Russia as extremist, Navalny's flagship anti-corruption fund vowed to continue its operations. In Russia, officials warned people against participating in a mass protest in Moscow. Some were detained there, as well as in St. Petersburg. The developments come as Putin gears up for an election which could keep him in power until at least 2030. Opposition groups have described the vote as an anointment.